And we're joined by Adam of the Dust Coda. How you keeping, dude?
Very well, Lee. Very well, Lee. Thanks for having me, mate. Pleasure to be here.
No, pleasure's all mine, man. I cannot wait. I've been fortunate enough to, obviously, when we air this, it will be the launch date of Mojo Skyline, and I've been fortunate enough to be sent the album ahead of its release. We've already been playing, we've been playing Jimmy 2 times, we're playing Limbo Man and Breakdown already on the show, and the album delivers and more what those 3 singles already promised, mate. This is a fantastic record.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, they're lovely, lovely words to hear, and we're just so excited about people hearing this finally. The response to people like yourself has been amazing, and we just can't wait for people to have a listen of something we're incredibly proud of ourselves. And I'm very lucky. I'm our #1 fan as well. I love listening still. So if no one else does, at least I get the enjoyment from it. That helps.
Always helps, mate. Always helps. Yeah. But like from the first moment, actually, I got the single sent across, and got the album sent across. I'd already heard the singles, and then Demons might be the best opener I've heard on an album in a long time.
It's pretty banging, right?
Yeah, what a way to kick off an album, man.
I know. I mean, I'd say that's probably one of my personal favorites. It's just got that kind of flex of muscle that, to start an album, it's just a sign of intent.
Yeah.
And also it grooves. It's got a bit of a swagger to it. Songs. And it's punchy. I mean, it's just got all the kind of ingredients that we kind of want to stamp on a TD song, from big riff, big choruses, breakdown, a bit of a heavy bit, and then a screaming outro, and the rhythm section are absolutely smashing it all the way through.
Solid all the way through the whole album. That's honestly, I can't get over it. I just keep listening to it, so that's always a good sign. If I listen to it once and turn it off, it's a bad sign. But if I keep listening to it, it's normally good.
Elton John played that song.
Elton John played.
Elton John played it on Apple Music Radio.
Oh wow!
We actually released it before we met Earache.
Oh, okay.
This was before the album. We only had like 2 songs off the album mastered, and we had an opportunity to use it for the Music Walk of Fame, which unfortunately didn't really last very long before COVID came along. But it was quite a big music awards ceremony based in London, where they put paving stones down across London for lots of Music Walk Hall of Fame people. So we had to release it to make sure it could get synced. Yeah. And Elton John heard it and played it on his Rocket Hour Beats FM show, which is awesome, right? So I've got a little soundbite of where he played it on the show and he introduced it, and
that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's it's not awesome. Bad, right?
No, you cannot complain at that. What I love about, and just brief talk about, obviously to talk about you, but what I love about Elton is he pops up on albums that you wouldn't expect as well. Like, I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan, and he popped up doing piano on the title track for Alice in Chains' Black Gives Way to Blue. And it's like, what's Elton John doing on an Alice in Chains record? But fair play to him.
Oh, he's a legend, right? His approach to music is phenomenal and should be admired, because he's not just whatever the labels or the suits wants. He's like, no, if I dig something, I'll do it. Hence the Alice in Chains gig, probably, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about him. He still goes and does what he wants to do, which is the epitome of rock and roll, right?
Exactly.
So you announced earlier, I think it might have been yesterday, that you're also releasing a new single, Dreamlight, which will be announced Friday. Is that right?
Friday, so the 19th. Yeah, that's correct.
Cool. Again, another great song, different flavour to the other 3 singles, slightly lighter affair with Dream of Light, but no less rock and roll.
So that is, be the 4th single off the album. Deliberately an introduction into a bit of a different flavour and what to expect off the album. Because, the first 2 with Limbo Man and Breakdown are quite big hitters.
Yeah.
Very riff-tastic, very, kind of big rock sounds. Dreamer Light is, an introduction into more of the light and shade of the album. And some of the storytelling songs that we've got, and again, incredibly proud of it. It'll be interesting, we think potentially it'll also widen our audience as well, something like that, which which would be fantastic to get more people involved in the album. So, you know, at the moment, as we speak, you know, it's kind of a day and a half away. So very excited for it to be out there and see what people's reaction is.
Is there any other songs on the album that you didn't see for people's reaction? Anything else you think is a bit different compared to what people may come to expect from the Dust Coda?
I think definitely it's all about the non-singles kind of. Like, I definitely feel like the epic one, Rolling, because that's, you know, it's over 6 minutes and it's got everything a rock fan would love in it. You've then got the kind of ballad, Bourbon Pouring, which stands out nicely. I'm very proud of the way that came out. And then you've got this kind of dirty Black Sabbath kind of musy rock song in I've Been Waiting, which is, you know, it's almost quite indulgent as a band and a musician to do something like that, but it's just come out great. And it's like, no, it just sounds awesome. And it, you know, it doesn't have a set kind of arrangement. It just flows from start to finish. So there's the kind of treats for everyone. And then, you know, you've got It's a Jam at the end, which is a nice, lovely kind of celebration, almost breath of fresh air to end. You know, it's quite a big album, right? So to end like is quite a nice way to do it.
I think this is, as much as I like the self-titled, I think Mojo Skyline, and it's easy for me to say, I'm just a listener at the end of the day, but I think Mojo Skyline is showing a bit more light and shade of your guys' sound than the self-titled did. I think it's showing a bit more dimension to you guys that people who would have seen you now live would have seen that anyway. But
yeah, I mean that is all very deliberate. It's part of our sound because you know, you need, you know, music is an art form, and part, you know, all art forms should take the consumer, you know, in music's case, the listener, on a journey. You should tell a story, and you need that light and shade to balance out the different emotions and part of that and how you engage with people. And, you know, a lot of bands, you find kind of one tone, one color, and whilst that might sound great and awesome, but they'll chug it along for the whole album. So it's easy to get a bit lost.
yeah,
You'd be like, you get lost in, you know, something that's awesome. Like, yeah, I love this. And you're rocking out. And it's like, well, is it track 4? Is it 6? Track 5? What is it? Is the song changed? Blah, blah, blah. And whereas actually, you know, an album is still, and we're a bit old fashioned like this, but an album is still a piece of work. You know, the whole album should flow and tell a story, let alone the individual stories in each song. So that light and shade is very deliberate and something where we're kind of proud of and we like in our sound, because at the end of the day, we're still just 4 guys.
Yeah.
We don't want to be overproduced.
No, of course not.
But at the same time, 4 guys can still be quite big when they want to be. But we'll certainly embrace our individual talents, that when it's just one of us on our own or something, it's cool, it works.
I think that's it, and you're right. There's albums out there that are a great collection of songs, and there's albums that are an album, like you say. You've got your individual stories within each song, but like you just said a minute ago, there is a whole collective work that should be, you know, enjoyed throughout, and it should tell a story throughout the whole process. And I think Mojo Skyline is definitely that.
Oh, awesome! So it's lovely to hear, because you know we're very proud of it, and we, you know, that side of things, of how you arrange things, etc., is certainly something that, you know, we take seriously as an art form.
So how does the songwriting process work within the Dust Coda then? Is it just a case of, you know, someone coming up with an idea and everybody bringing their pieces to the party, or?
So John and I write the songs, and we always have from day one. We are very much a guitar-driven rock band, as you probably tell, for obvious reasons. If not, we've done something wrong. So in that sense, you know, my kind of role is musically, I do most of the music. So, you know, I'll bring the riff, and if the riff is good enough and hooky enough and unique enough, you can write a whole song around it.
Oh yeah.
And then we do our thing. And that's been going on in rock music for decades and decades, right? So and then you'll have John's side, who as a singer, you know, he'll just kind of strum away and have this amazing chorus and melody and lyrics. and be like, right, I want to build a song around this. So then you kind of flip it and it'll be like, right, got to write a riff to that. Because we'll never be kind of, you know, a strumming band.
No.
You want both the singing awesome and the guitar playing awesome at the same time and complementing each other.
Of course.
And then you get, you know, songs that are kind of a mixture of the two at the beginning, or they're a mashup of ideas. But I'd say a lot of it is the music, the guitar riff and stuff, because that also then drives how John's gonna sing. Yeah. How does that riff make him feel? He might be excited, he might be angry, he might be, you know, might have a swagger, he might be cool, he might be confident, or he might be upset. So the music very much starts the kind of first palette of color, if you like, that tells the story. And then we just have certain ways of doing things that we always do, and it just works and it's great. So, and then to be honest, so to answer your question, me and John do that. We then just strum it out on acoustics, play it into our mobile phone, and then we send the recording to the others, and then that's how we start in the rehearsal studio, making it kind of bigger, basically.
So where you kind of got like a map outlined, as it were, of the song, and then taking it to other guys.
And then it can still, you know, and then it can still change once we're playing with the others, which is great, you know, because it's all very organic, as you know, our style of rock and roll should be, right?
Definitely. So, like, don't get me wrong, there's some real technical guys out there that I like and that I'm a fan of, but for me, it's always been the rock music that's more what I would call not emotional in terms of writing love songs all the time, but, you know, in terms of coming from the soul and coming from the heart, and those things that just jam out, and the spaces that get created rather than trying to be too technical. Sometimes I think that's where it lives for me personally. Just like I say, back to being a listener again. But
no, definitely. And I know what you mean. And I guess a lot of it depends what mood you're in, right? Because I've got, you know, as a guitarist, I've got plenty of guitarists that I love that are technically phenomenal. I'll happily just geek out and listen to them doing their instrumental stuff. But you know, you've got to be in the mood for that. You've got to embrace it and know what you're getting into.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like you say, it is a whole package, and a whole package with any decent album involves the artwork as well. The artwork on this is amazing. I love the artwork.
Cool, isn't it?
Where did the idea for that come from? It's mental.
So, do you drink beer, Lee?
I have been known to partake in a beverage or two, yes.
Right. So, are you aware of Beavertown beer?
Yeah, I started drinking them the last couple of weeks, actually. A mate of mine, because I'm more of a Brewdog man, but my mate, he said to me to go try some Beavertown, so I was trying that out.
Next time you get a Beavertown beer can, hold it next to the album and look at the two of them, because we're very lucky that we got a guy called Nick Dwyer, who is I think he's creative director for Beavertown, but basically the artist who does all the artwork for the Beavertown beers. So we're very lucky that he basically did this album cover for us.
Oh wow!
And you know, if you look at his collection of work, which he's most famous for, the beer stuff, and those beer cans, you know, they're mental.
Oh yeah, the artworks on them, nice.
You know, they've got absolutely nothing to do with the beer, and they name it after his artwork. But what's great is, after, you know, we met Nick and we had like 3 kind of pub meetings with him. Lovely guy, incredibly talented, and a really nice bloke. And he loved it because it was like a different project. He's like, right, it's not for a beer, it's for a rock band.
Yeah.
And when you deal with someone as cool and as talented as him, because he was very good, you know, he treated it with respect. He's like, right, what's the brief? What do you want? And we were like, well, do your thing.
Yeah.
But then it was like, okay, but, you know, do you want me? And do you want that kind of Beavertown? And like, well, no, be yourself. And then we were like, look, listen to the album and then just draw stuff, you know, just
see what happens. Yeah.
And we basically did that, and we came up with this. Like, we had an album name as well at this point, and that was very, very important, because then you know, so you got the skyline in the background and stuff. But he just drew this, and we were like, that's awesome. Like, like now there's no way we could ever come up with something like that.
No, not at all.
And to, you know, to even kind of echo how good it is. You know, when we had the finished artwork, you know, we played with getting the album name across the top as a header and the band name across the bottom. We were playing with different things, and we're like, just leave it. Goodness own, man. Like, it doesn't need it.
No, leave it where it is. No, it's fantastic artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny that you've just started drinking Beavertown and then that happens in an interview. But cool. I'll have to check that out next time.
No, you'll notice the little kind of uncanny things that he kind of just does. And they're very personified in his artwork with Beavertown.
Oh, that's cool. Really cool. So am I right in thinking that the album was already done by the time lockdown hit, or did you record it during lockdown? Or?
Yeah, so we were very lucky. We in 2019 we independently recorded it. So we did it ourselves again, but we did it with the same producer, Clint Murphy, at the same studio, that we did the debut album. So this was actually wrapped in terms of final mixes and stuff, like summer 2019.
Okay.
And then we met Earache towards the end of 2019 when we were part of their New Wave of Rock and Roll compilation album.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then we were lucky to play the launch show for that in O2 Islington Academy in London. And that was 2 weeks before Boris said, everyone stay at home.
Wow.
So luckily we kind of got that show in, and that's how we met Earache properly.
Yeah.
The first time they saw us live, and they were like, oh, okay, you know, oh, wow, we'd like to talk. And basically we were very lucky, because when we did talk to them afterwards, we were like, we've got an album, another one, like, have a listen. And they were like, yeah, love it, we want it. Cool. So we spent the first part of lockdown basically negotiating our first record deal, which is just awesome, right? Considering the world falling apart around us, and then we're kind of doing that. So
right. Earache are the perfect for you guys as well. Earache are such a good label for like the rising side of things that are coming through. Absolutely brilliant bands they got on their label, you know, bands like Crows and Massive Wagons and everyone, and now yourselves added to that roster. And I think I read this morning that Skindred have just been signed to the
Skindred are doing a 1 album deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because not only that, Earache have got resounding success with some amazing bands. Not just the kind of hardcore and metal thing they were famous for, but, you know, Rival Sons, Temperance Movement. You know, these bands did amazing things. I've completely forgotten the name of them, which is really bad of me. Blackberry Smoke.
Yes.
You know, a huge band, really amazing touring band. So, you know, Earache.
No, I completely forgot Blackberry Smoke were on Earache. Just looking at the record collection over there, I completely forgot Blackberry Smoke were on Earache.
Yeah, some great albums they've done.
Yeah.
And Earache are embracing, you know, this new era of kind of British rock talent, which we're, you know, phenomenally chuffed to be part of. And, you know, they're not just an album taking the whim on it. They've, you know, they're obviously investing in it and really see the potential, and their ambition matches ours, you know.
Yeah, that's always good.
So it's a great match, really good match.
That is good, because you always hear stories of, you know, someone getting a record label and it's all good on paper, but everything else didn't go around. But from everyone that because I host a festival called Just Push Play, and we've got Those Damn Crows headlining this year, and we had Massive Wagons in 2019. So I know the guys a bit, and anytime I've ever spoke to anyone about Earache and bands I know, it's always been, yeah, these guys are, you know, they're the deal. They're the ones who are investing in the bands, and the support has been amazing. So that's fantastic, man.
No, it is. It's been an absolute pleasure working with them, and they're very driven. All the team are great, and you know, they're really pushing us in areas, and it's great because at the end of the day, they believe in the album. You know, they really got behind it.
So you guys also, fingers crossed, speaking of live things returning, have been announced for Rambling Man Fair. I've got my ticket to that, so I'm hoping it's going ahead this year. Looks like we're on the right roadmap for it anyway. How did you guys come to get involved with Rambling Man Fair? So obviously you were quite recent.
Rambling Man, so we know Chris, who runs it already, which is great. So we played the Rising stage, or I think 2018.
Okay.
So a few years ago. And basically we got in touch with Chris early and we're like, we've got this out, we're going to be pushing this hard, we'd love to get involved. And at this point, Chris was like, who knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And then as things unfolded, Chris really liked the song Jimmy Two Times.
Great song.
The video we did for it. So they got an exclusive on the video. You could the only first place you could see it was on the Rambling Man Fair.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw it was on their website.
Exactly. And then coincidentally, very lovingly announced that we'd be playing on the main stage as well. So
that's amazing.
Kind of looked after each other. So he's a great guy, and he's a friend of the band, and we're very grateful he's kind of getting behind us in that way.
Yeah. Is it the Saturday you're playing on the main stage, or is it the Sunday?
Yes. So we'll be opening the main stage on the Saturday.
On the Saturday, that's right.
Brilliant.
Oh, I love that festival. It was one that, like, when it came through in 2015, I think the first one, it was just the lineup was so solid, and it was a brand new festival. I thought, that lineup's too good. I'm just gonna, we've all been to Down Road and wherever else, but I thought, no, I'm taking a punt on this one. And me and my wife walked through the doors, or the gates as it were, and then within 10-15 minutes, you just went, this one's for us. Just the whole atmosphere and the whole vibe of the place. I absolutely love Rambling. In fact, we got married at not at Rambling Man Fair itself, but we got married in the registry office on the Thursday, and then spent the rest of the weekend celebrating in 2019. So yeah.
Good man.
Yeah. We always said we were going to run away and do it and just go off and get married, and it coincided with us being together for 10 years. We kind of went, we always said we were going to do this, let's just go do it. So yeah, so Rambling Man Fair does hold a very special place for me for those reasons.
Good.
But, yeah. No, because Crows are on the lineup for that as well, aren't they?
They are. Crows are on Europe.
Yeah, Europe got announced, didn't they?
And Clutch as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot, because Clutch are doing a 3-day thing, aren't they? Where they're doing things on stages.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. But yeah, I just can't like most people can't wait for live music to return. Really, it's been too long. The last gig I went to was Winter's End Festival before lockdown. So to go over a year now without live music for me is just it's not only unheard of, it's obscene. So I can't wait for it to return. Have you guys got any other plans on the live side of things?
So at the moment we've got 3 festivals booked in July.
Okay.
One of them hasn't been announced yet, but obviously alongside Rambling Man Fair, we announced I think it was last week, Call of the Wild Festival.
Oh, that's a great festival. I know Raz can quite well, so
yeah, so that's awesome. It's the first time we played it. Well, will be, fingers crossed. And there's another one that hopefully we'll be able to announce soon. And then, to be honest, it's really interesting and good. What Boris announced the roadmap about a month ago now.
Yeah.
I'd say about 2-3 weeks. It's really picked up. So we're going to be doing our own headline to celebrate the album.
Oh, brilliant!
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Again, not cemented yet. So hopefully we'll be announcing the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll definitely keep my eye out for that.
Oh no, good. And just everyone's still just being a bit, risk averse. So it's towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Be smart about it, make sure it goes ahead. But otherwise, random kind of opportunities and requests are starting to kind of trickle in, which is great. Good. Absolutely great. And it's just fingers crossed that the first half of the summer, well, not first half, first part of the summer being open goes smoothly, right?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
For the rest of the year.
Definitely. I mean, I'd like to say with my festival I put on, I'm hoping for so we're at the end of July, so I'm fingers crossed that we'll be okay by then. But like you say, since the announcement got made, there seems to have been a lot of rumblings about various tours and stuff. And I think, well, going for a year over that without live music, let alone as a music fan, it's one thing. Let alone for every single band who this is their career, and it seems to have got overlooked sadly in that respect over the last year of just how important art in any form really is important for everyone's mental health and everyone's establishment and anyone trying to make it. It's been a tough year for everyone. So I'm chatting to this with Toby Jepson of Wayward Sons when I interviewed him a couple of months ago, and we were saying we were sort of really hopeful that when it does return, that no longer will you get that midweek gig on a Tuesday night somewhere where when everyone goes, oh, I got work in the morning, or I got this to do, or I can't, oh, no, I'll go see the guys next time. I think you're going to get, we were talking about it almost like you'd get a second sort of roaring 20s scenario where everyone's sort of been cooped up for so long like they were with the Spanish flu, and then you've got the roaring 20s of the 1920s. Maybe we'll get that back in the 2020s.
A new baby boom generation.
Yeah, why not? So, as you know, on the show, when we air this, we are going to do a bit of an album launch show because, well, putting it bluntly, I've just been really enjoying the album. So it's a bit of self-indulgence for me, really, to be honest. It's a fantastic record, man. So what 4 songs from the album would you like us to play?
So I think we should go off the singles and some of the ones we touched upon earlier. So definitely I've Been Waiting.
Yep.
So I think it's a nice shot of adrenaline of old school rock. I would say definitely Best Believe It.
Yep.
Because that is 4 to the floor, hand in the air, just classic rock. And it makes me want to see live music again.
Yeah.
Just absolutely love it. I think Bourbon Pouring, just to give everyone a different flavour. That's the ballad of the album, which we're very proud of. And then maybe let's end with Demon, like you said. You know, it's just, you know, it's a belter to start with, but it's also just a massive, you know, fist in the air to end with as well. I'd like to pick 4 songs.
All right, nice one, man. So following that also, let's have some choices for you for the rest of the show then. What sort of influences? Give people a bit of an idea of your influences when you know what. I mean, first of all, how old were you start when you picked up guitar? And like, what made you pick the 6-string rather than the 4-string, or get behind a kit? Or
the reason I got into music rock music, was I was 7 years old, and my parents took my older brother out one night. He was about 4 years older than me. And I had a babysitter. Next day, everyone's around, and I'm like, where have you been? What have you done? You know, where'd you go last night? Why was I babysitter? And they said, oh, we went to the Royal Albert Hall and we saw Eric Clapton.
Wow.
And I'm like, who's that? What's all that about? And I'll never forget when we got in the car that day, and they put on the cassette. How old I am. And it was the cassette of Eric Clapton, the Journeyman album.
Oh, yeah.
Is what, 1989?
89, somewhere around there, yeah.
Something like it's late 80s album.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when I heard track 3, Bad Love, for the first time. Because it just opens with this riff. And I was like, what's that? And they were like, oh, that's the electric guitar. And I was like, how do I get that?
Yeah.
How do I do that? Give me that, more of that. And then obviously in my own naive, you know, 7-year-old self, didn't realize all the wonderful hours of practice and talent needed to get that. But that's what
resonated
inside me. I'll never forget hearing that for the first time. So I just started playing when I was about 9 years onwards, basically, and then, you know, progressed and haven't stopped since.
No. So how did you come to meet John and the rest of the guys? Had you been in any bands before with them, or?
So John and I met years ago, about 10 years ago now. And basically, I met him in another project, and that fell apart quite quickly after meeting him. But I knew he was a good singer. You know, that sounds pretty obvious, right, when you hear
yeah.
And I was at a point in my life, in my late 20s, where I was like, right, you know, I want to start the rock band I've always wanted to be in since I was 14. And I was like, right, you know, John's good. Like, see if he's up for it. You know, writing some songs, finishing the stuff I've got. So I had a load of stuff for him, and we just got together and made some songs.
Yeah.
And we, you know, I was living in Brixton at the time. We used to hang out in my room, drink a whole load of Red Stripe, make kind of demos on GarageBand, and the rest is history. And then, you know, all band members will tell you that, you know, the hardest bit is finding the right band members.
Definitely.
And then it's just, you know, we were auditioning and meeting different players along the way. But Scott's been with us for about 7 years now. So he's very much part of the family, and I think Tony's been with us 4 years now, which is mental. Doesn't feel that long. But yeah, kind of John and I started it about 10 years ago, and then, you know, it took us about 2 years before we were ready to, which is so overzealous and bonkers looking back, until we were ready to kind of form a band, you know what I mean? But, you know, I wouldn't change anything. No,
that's cool, man. So other than Clapton, who's influenced you in your playing?
So I would say if we think of Mojo Skyline, I think definitely a kind of flavour that I wanted to get with the song Jimmy Two Times was, you know, Gunners. Gunners kind of doing Rolling Stones, and there's two sides to it. So you've got Bad Obsession of Use Your Illusion 1.
Yeah.
Now that song is great, right?
I love the bass line on that.
Everything, right? It's awesome.
So raw, brilliant.
And it's, you know, it's a very underrated Gunners song.
Yeah.
So Bad Obsession, I'd say definitely give a shout. And then the kind of top line guitar part, Live and Let Die. You've got the horns with Slash.
Yeah.
And it's like, you still know it's a guitar song. Even though the horns are amazing, he's just on top that little bit, which is exactly what we wanted to do with those kind of chorus hooks at the end, the main riff and theme. So, you know, I'll leave it up to you, either Live and Let Die or Bad Obsession. But they were,
I think it might have to be Bad Obsession.
Yeah, it's a great song, isn't it?
I love Bad Obsession. It might have to be Bad Obsession.
Awesome.
No, that's why I was thinking it's not played enough either. You know, there's no disrespect to Live and Let Die, because that's you can't argue with a song like Live and Let Die, but Bad Obsession doesn't get played enough, so I think we'll have to go for that as well.
No, good man. And then if you take a song like Best Believe It, well, I would say the main influence for that was, do you remember the Datsuns?
Yeah, I used to love the Datsuns.
Their debut album
was phenomenal.
Is banging.
Yeah, one of the best for debut albums, period.
Ever. Yeah, it's in my top 5.
Yeah.
And there is a song on that called Free Sucker.
I think we still got it over there. Yeah, I've got it over there. Brilliant.
Yeah. Free Sucker is one of the best rock songs you'll ever hear.
It's got everything you want. It's that riff's foot stomping, driving beat from behind, and
the arrangement. You know, we talked about Light and Shade before in Dynamics. Like you'll get it. Like you can see how that was an influence. It's just such an insane song. It's so underrated. I absolutely adore it, and listen to it a lot. And then final one, I'm just trying to think of cool songs from the album, like, you know, Limbo Man's very Metallica influenced. No, I'll tell you what, it's a breakdown. Breakdown for me, like writing it, you know, it's a big riff and it's quite slashy, and then you've got quite a funky groove and verse. But the outro for me, where it drops down and then changes tempo, is very kind of Ugly Kid Joe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see that now you mentioned it, yeah.
And like that Ugly Kid Joe album, America's Least Wanted, is so good. So good. Anyone who wants to play guitar in a rock band needs to just worship this album for a good couple of months.
That was the first album I ever chose myself. Like, I was lucky that my dad was into rock music, and I was into it at a very young age. And there was albums that I would pick out and go, oh well, you know, what's this? And it would be like Sabbath or Zeppelin or whoever. Having said that, I was also like 7 years old and listening to Rage Against the Machine, thanks to my dad. Heavily edited, but, you know, I still got to listen to it.
Yeah. Awesome.
And, but yeah, America's Least Wanted was the first album where I went, Dad, can we go get this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, I never got a saw in first around because I was a bit too young, but seen them a few times since they've reformed, and man, still a great live band.
I've never seen them. I really want to, because I love that album nostalgically. For me, is amazing. So I think top of my head, it's track 3, Panhandling Prince.
Yeah,
that is just top notch.
And again, doesn't get played enough, so I'm more than happy.
No, doesn't at all. So yeah, so they're my kind of 4 influence tracks for you.
All right, well, we'll definitely go with those, bud. And do you just want to, you know, give everyone a bit of a shout out on the album, where they can grab it, where they can see you? You know, just platforms yours, dude.
No, absolutely. I mean, massive thanks to all the RWS fans, all the rock fans out there who've shown us love and have been involved and get excited about Mojo Skyline release. And, you know, all of you pre-ordered, just amazing. It's all appreciated, and we couldn't do any of this without you. And we can't wait to see you out on the road. But you can still pre-order it now at earache.com/the Dust Coda, and also that'll be the place to get it on CD and vinyl once it's out as well. If you head over to the dustcoda.com, our website, you'll be able to get the album along with some other goodies, and also all our live dates will be up there. I would say easily within the next 3 weeks, so leading up to kind of mid-April, we're going to have a load of live dates out across the country, which we just can't wait to see as many of you as possible to celebrate not only, the album, but music being live and loud again and in a social environment, and all the wonderful things we can't wait to do with that. So dustcoda.com and earache.com/the Dust Coda. And just been an absolute pleasure having me on board, Lee, and I'm just chuffed to bits and glad you're liking it.
Oh, I'm loving it, man. Like I say, I've got the album on pre-order. I've been sent the sort of tracks ahead of us chatting, mate. So thank you for trusting me with them. It's a phenomenal record. I cannot wait to be able to play more songs that haven't been released yet of this. And more importantly, I can't wait to see you guys on the road. So yeah, thanks for your time, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, pleasure's all mine. Cheers, man.
Man. I'll see you soon, buddy. I'll take it easy.
Cool. Rambling Man, someone hook me up. Hopefully see you there, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have to see if we meet up for a beer or something.
Yeah, definitely, because we'll be hanging out afterwards because we're playing early. So,
oh, cool. Nice one. Yeah, well, we'll meet up and have a beer, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good one, man.
You too, man. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye, man.